We have the co-founder of Market Rebellion joining us now, Pete Najarian. I promoted the Najarian brothers, but John doesn't like us, I guess, at this. He's enough of us, or he's sick of the market.
He's out.
He's out, yeah. That's where we are. So, we talk a lot about, just regular people watching, long-term views and all that. And then your kind of day-to-day life, your career has been spent in the opposite, short-term, trading in and out of stuff, right? So let's start there for a second. What's going on today? Was it all the China stuff, and then we're going to hit them with the 104% tariffs? I mean, because that relief rally went away.
Yeah, that disappeared pretty quick, right? I mean, when we looked at what those numbers looked like, we were up like 1,400 points or so. I mean, the swings, Connell, have been absolutely incredible, right? Whether it's the S&P, the NASDAQ, or you look at the Dow, the swings from the highs to the lows, and also in between. So when we talk about volatility, that's exactly what we're talking about. We're not just talking about certain directional volatility. We're talking about the volatile markets that we have, where it's up 3% on the S&P, and the next thing you know, you're back to flat, and then you're down into negative territory, those kinds of things. And the volatility index has been absolutely incredible, and I would encourage people to always look at that each and every day just to get a flavor of what's going on in the markets. But we closed above 50 plus. The highest we've ever been that I've seen as a trader has been an 85 VIX, and that's going way back in time. But this has been no fun, and we were just at a 60 VIX in the pre-market just the other day.
So and it's high, just so people know. I mean, the VIX, which, as you say, is the volatility index, as this screen indicates, is often referred to kind of colloquially as the fear gauge. Is that fair? Because guys like you can capitalize sometimes, not on fear, but on volatility and movement. We get it. And I guess the question for you, someone watching at home, would be, how long do you think it's going to stay like this?
Well, it usually can't stay up at the highest levels for very long. It's just something that's almost unstoppable. And I guess the easiest way I could describe that is, do we really think that the S&P 500 is going to move 4, 5, 6% on a daily basis? And that's what we're looking at when we look at the VIX at some of these high levels. So
I hope not.
I just think that's the reality of it, that no, at some point that's going to pull back. But the news flow right now is all exactly what you guys have been talking about. And obviously part of it is China. That's a huge part of it. And I think a lot of people have said, hey, look, maybe there's a way that we can just kind of execute a system where we get rid of China and we stop using China. And that's a possibility. I mean, the economy over there is not running very well right now. They've got massive stimulus to try to help things out. They've got devalued currency, all of that. And there are other places in the world where maybe some of the manufacturing can be, including the United States, but not excluding some of those others either.
Well, that was the thing. We had a guy on last night, an old friend of mine named Ken Nattori, who runs this, runs an Nattori company, this old-fashioned, right? And he was saying that same thing. He thought they're set up in the Philippines. It's where the company is based, had been, or where his mom is from. They started the company. He says, "Well, we have our own factory there. We figured we wouldn't be part of this. We wouldn't have to deal with it because we're not in China." And he says, well, what the heck? Why is the Philippines getting 17%? So maybe the answer is Bassett and Company cuts deals with other countries. I know Japan and South Korea have been mentioned, and then we're kind of talking ex-China. And is that the conversation that we're having in the next few weeks? And if so, then what do the markets look like?
Yeah, and I think that is a possibility. I think as we execute through that, Connell, I think that's the big thing. People need to see progress, right? And we talk about this. We talked about 50, 60 countries coming and wanting to have some sort of resolution with this. And it's going to be something where they're going to have to work for a while. But I saw Bassett on television today talking about, hey, look, this is going to take a little bit of time. We're going to go through April into May and maybe even into June to get all this executed. Now, if we can knock out 30 or 40 countries pretty quickly, I think people get pretty excited very fast. But the problem is going to be, how quick can we do this? This is something that's going to take a lot of work, a lot of time. And I think hopefully we can actually accelerate that to a level where it gives us a fighting chance to get back to where we were.
Yeah.
But, that isn't a complete layup by any stretch.
I think it was just better without John. You had a better chance to get your thoughts out and everything, and it served the audience better. Don't you agree?
We don't need John, man. We don't need.
Thanks, Pete. Pete Najarian of the Flying